So.
Okay, it's on now. Okay, so go ahead and talk. This,
Oh, you already taking it?
yeah.
Here, put this in the bottom. A little heavier.
Perfect.
Okay, you want to come here? You're going to be on TV early. Come on. You can change that over to TV, can't you?
Maybe TV.
I don't know what happened to my knife. Probably up here. Come on over here.
Oh, okay. Wait. Please don't nail it in here. Don't
Okay.
get excited. Don't get excited.
No, sit close together so you can both be in the video.
Oh.
And then just talk about your parents and your grandparents.
Oh, hey, my parents were both from Colorado. My mom was around, let's see, southern Colorado or northern New Mexico. That was the Baca plantation. Anyway, I don't know how they met. They never did tell us how they met. But they had 9 children.
Do you know how old they were when they got married?
No, I wasn't there. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be a smart ass. Anyway, they. What was I saying about my mother?
Okay,
They were hardworking people. My dad was a coal miner. My mom was a housewife, and she never did work when we were in Colorado. So kids were all small, and she was taking care of them. We lived in Morley, and Morley was where the mine was, and Starkville was where we used to live for a while. We lived in Starkville. My dad was traveling to Morley, which is about 5 miles up the road, to go to work. For a coal miner, him, my Uncle Johnny, my Uncle Amador, my Uncle Lee, they were all coal miners.
and they were all brothers?
They were my mother's brothers.
They're your mother's brothers. Oh, okay.
All right? That's Joey's dad, and all the girls are their dad. And Lee, my Uncle Lee, had some kids. They were pretty small, though. I don't remember too much of them. I don't even remember their names. But we moved from Starkville to Morley because it was closer, and my dad was able to get a company house to live in. But they had a company store there and a company YMCA, and everything belonged to the company. Thank goodness it wasn't Donald Trump.
Okay.
Anyway, my Uncle Johnny, Aunt Lucy's husband, Dale and Tommy and Leonard and Filbert and Rosella and Florence, 6 kids they had. They lived right there in the same camp. My Uncle Johnny used to take care of the mules that would pull the coal out. There was no electric or gas things that pull the thing out. There were cables. They'd come out of the mine with the mules would pull in big things of coal out. My Uncle Johnny would come out black, all. And that's the reason both of them got the black lung. They had black lungs since even here in California, they finally started paying them for it, you know.
How many years was he a coal miner?
Oh, I don't know. My dad came out. He had everybody had to register for the draft, no matter how many kids you had or anything. The reason my dad left the mine is because him and one of his friends were digging coal, and they had a cave in, and they got out just in time. But where they were working collapsed completely. No, they were the only two working in that
Mine.
but they got out. My dad vowed never to go back in the coal mine, and I guess the other guy didn't either. I don't know who he was, but because he said, I got 8 boys. If I stay here, this is going to happen to them. It's the only job that was available down there. So we come to California. Me, Leroy, and my dad first came out to he was going to find a job, and
And you were, do you remember the age you were at this time?
well, I had to be about 8 years old, maybe a little less than
Wow.
8 years old. Because the first one I met over here was Chewy. Anyway,
Wow.
we moved right there to Happy Valley. We were staying with my madrina and my padrino, the Shannons, Bobby and Billy, and I forget the girl's name. They were way up on the top of the hill. And my dad got a job working at Goodyear Tire and Company. At that time, if you were frozen to a job, which all coal miners were, because coal was essential for the war effort, they put a tag on you saying you're classified for this. If you unclassify yourself and you go to another job and it's not a classified job, they draft you. So he was over here. I guess he didn't notify him that he had changed job, but they found out he was working at Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company. They came after him. They were going to take him to the army, and he said, no, you know who got him out of it was the Goodyear Tire and Company, because they were all so essential for the war. So he changed from one job to the other job. They didn't just leave. Anyway, that's what he remained for a long time. They used to make the the tires for the service, and right there's where we grew up. And my mom.
This Happy Valley, you said?
Huh?
Happy Valley?
Happy Valley, right there in Lincoln High School and
Oh.
northeast LA.
Okay.
So where we lived most of the time when we were there. And I already saw the house up there. I don't know if you remember it.
I do. You had to walk on those wooden planks to go
Yeah, all
up
the
to it.
way up. Anyway, let's see, we're talking about my mom. Just when she lost her dad, we were living up right above the house right there on 3120 U Terrace. There was a house behind there that we were living in first. This is when she found out my dad had died. Not my dad,
Your grandfather.
her
There
dad.
we go.
She couldn't go back because of where there wasn't enough money to train or I mean, you just couldn't get up and go the way you do now, you know. There was hard times. We went through hard times as kids too, where you ate what was available. If you didn't like it, you didn't eat. So this is why this is what shaped a lot of my thoughts and all that.
So, being with all the kids and everything, did she have the same? Did you eat like mostly the same dinner all the time, or?
It was between her, my Aunt Lucy, and my Aunt Santana. They had to make things meat. They used to have to buy a big 100-pound sack of flour or beans or things that were in bulk.
Uh-huh.
You couldn't just go buy 3 potatoes or something like that, a sack of potatoes, and that's what we used to eat. Once in a while you get bacon or meat or something like that. You ate what there was. Bread was made by them, tortillas, any kind of bacon. I remember they used to make beautiful cinnamon rolls. God, they were good. And so like I said, we did have hard times, you know. It's sometimes I even feel like crying. I feel like crying when I see some of the kids nowadays. If they don't have what they put to eat, they won't eat or something like that. And that's the way, you know. I guess what happens is my dad was strict. He used to beat us when my mom used to say, "I'm gonna tell your dad on you," and that was it, man. We had to do whatever she said because he used to get a razor strap, you know, where you
Do the razor.
and whack us on the butt with a, you know, and he'd line you up. I lined you guys up one time. Didn't work though for me. Anyway, am I boring you?
She says, I heard this all
Why
before.
don't you go to bed? If I'm boring you with my history, you're next to tell about yours. Okay,
So,
and I will go to. Anyway, my Uncle Johnny and my dad were brothers. My Aunt Lucy and my mother were sisters, so 2 brothers married 2 sisters.
who got married first? What set? Your mom and dad or them? Or did they get married at the same time?
My mother and dad married at the same time. They married each other.
No!
What are you talking about?
Your aunt, Aunt Lucy,
Oh,
and did they
I think my Aunt Lucy got married first.
were they older than your
Yeah.
Okay.
Because my Uncle Johnny lived to be 100 years old when he died. And then my Uncle Johnny and they married first, and my mother and my dad, and then my aunt not Simonita, but my Uncle Frank's wife,
Santana?
my Aunt Santana. They married last. She was a baby.
Oh.
We got pictures of them when they were small too, right here, big picture of them. And they started having kids, and we got along with my aunt. What are you laughing at?
She's falling asleep. I was taping you.
Oh, shit.
That's what
Oh,
I already told her. I did.
Oh.
That's why yes, sir, because I told her to move in.
Am I boring you?
No. You, I have to go to the bathroom.
Hey, take that in there and put it on.
No, thank
Put it on
you.
record.
No, thank you. So then, let me see what else.
Yeah, they.
So when you first 3 came to California, how did the rest of the family come join you guys?
Oh, they came. Everybody came by train.
Oh, by train?
Yeah. They. My dad come and got a house first and made room for him. I remember coming on the train even. Getting on the train in Trinidad and going up and going over the Grand Canyon. There's a big trestle goes across and it's about a mile down, man. Anyway, I remember that. And I remember we used to have some chickens in Morley, and we had a rooster that would come after us mean if we try to get the eggs. So we used to have to go to 2 people to get the eggs. One with a broom to corner the rooster. I remember he was a little red rooster. And the other one to go get the eggs, and then we both had to run out. And let's see what else. I remember walking to school in the snow. The snow was up to your nalgas
And this was in which
in
state?
Morley.
Colorado?
Yeah, Morley, Colorado. It's up there in the mine where it was. We had a lot of fun up there though as a kids, because you just walk about 100 yards and you're already out in the wilderness. You know,
Okay.
the town was concentrated right there by where they where the mine was. They had the store up here and then the YMCA down below. And they had on the other side of the creek, they had a mule barn where they used to keep all the mules that used to work in the mine. And I remember even for water, you used to have to go out and pump it, you know. And during winter time, sometimes that would freeze up on you. And they used to have some bad winters over there, you know. Snow was where you couldn't even get out of the door. But
What about school? What,
school was right up the hill from us, right there in Morley. They had grade school and then like not a high school, but like what they call from the 8th to the 12th grade. A principal ran the upper school, and her granddaughter or something, real pretty girl, I remember that. And I was only 8 years old. She used to teach the lower grades. And I guess she had gotten out of college and all that, because she used to go with my sister Angie and Marie Bustos, the little gang that they had. She used to go with them like on hikes up there in the hills and all that. Well, I guess she had nothing else to do. But let's see what else. I remember there one time in Morley when the train used to come right through the middle, going up to Raton, to New Mexico. There was a train coming down, and some miners were crossing the train tracks. Train coming to hit them, boom, kill them all. And the train would stop there for a long time, you know. And it was, what the hell's going on? No. We walked down there, and the car was all mashed up, and miners were inside, and just a mess, you know. And on that same track, it used to be a double track going up, one for coming down and one for going up. Leroy used to, there's always, these guys used to run, when it's going up the hill, it goes slow because of the traction, you know. And a lot of guys would hop the train and go up to I guess first Wooden or something right there. And they would jump back off. And my dad said he never did want to see us doing that. And here Leroy was doing it one time. My dad's up here watching him from far. You could fall and the train would cut you in half. But they caught him and they whipped his ass, man. Oh, God. See, we didn't have a lot, but we had a lot of fun because you made it. Oh, I remember one of the times, I was pretty small yet. Art and Leroy. There used to be a spot way up from the camp, visible up there. It's called Green Spot. And there's a bunch of little girls and a bunch of little boys all went up there, and they were playing house up there. But you had to bring them flowers in order for them to do what they wanted to do. Here's a whole camp watching them. Here come my mother, a couple of them others with sticks. Get the hell out of everybody. You can ask Art or Leroy about, hey, my dad told me about Green Spot. I should write a book, huh? Yeah, there was really some good times, man. Anyway, my grandfather's, I think, what I understand is there was a Sioux princess or something in our family tree somewhere along the way back. I guess my grandpa couldn't, or she couldn't run fast enough, and my great grandpa caught her or something. I don't know what happened. I wasn't there, so I can't say anything. I even told some of my boys this, or maybe I have told them a long time ago, but anyway, we're supposed to have some Sioux Indian in us somewhere. And I want to know where the hell my casino's at. That's what I want to know. I got robbed of that. And then my brother Joe just well, not recently, about 10 years ago, he moved back to Trinidad, just right next side of town down. That's where my grandpas used to live, in Trinidad. Him and little Tony live there now. I don't know what they do. No jobs still. But a lot of Joey's, my Aunt Santana's kids, or my Aunt Rosa's kids, and my Uncle Amador, they still live there. They're dying off one by one, you know. But the little town is still, I can still remember. I don't know if you remember.
What's the name?
My Aunt Rose and my
I know the town name.
Starkville.
Starkville.
We used to live, there used to be a highway right in the middle of the town. And part of the family would live over here, and we lived right on the highway. Right near, there was a bar. I think they had one church and about 4 bars for the miners, because them guys were pretty good drinkers in them days, you know. And I remember one of the times we were sitting on the front porch, and cars used to come by about 30 miles an hour. That was fast, you know. And go up the little Ford Model A's and all that. We had a little dog that would like to chase him, and one of the cars hit our dog and killed him, and it was a big thing for us. Oh God, the dog was gone. You know, that's the way that saying came, dog gone. Anyway, what else do you want to hear about him? My dad got hurt. He was working for I guess after the war they laid off a lot of guys that were working there. You know, they didn't need the deferment anymore. So he went to work for the Los Angeles Transit. And what he used to do is, on the streets where they're working on, you know, where they got barricades, so the guys won't fall into a hole or something. That was his job, is to whistle these cars down and send them on a different way. And there's one time that he was out doing his job, and a armor truck come by, made a turn, back door open, boom, a bag of money fell right at his feet. And he thought about it, but he whistled, and the guy stopped and picked up the money. He didn't even thank him. We could have been rich. You could have been rich, but he could have been in jail too. See, that's some things I remember. I remember he was working. Same for the city, but this time he was working. Well, I don't know if it was in the same place, but he slipped and he damaged his cartilage on his leg, and he had a hell of a time getting it back where he could walk proper and all that. And right there in what was it? Nowhere when we were in San Jose. my Aunt Lucy, my Uncle Johnny, my Aunt Ida, my Uncle Johnny also, and my Uncle Frank, and the whole family went on a picnic up to Santa Cruz. And there was right there you can drink on the, as long as you didn't do any damage or not. It wasn't like it is now. They catch you drinking out there and they throw you in jail. But my mom and them started having some beers. They got my Uncle Johnny. One got his one foot, the other got the other foot, the other two got the arms. In the water. He comes off like,
Oh my God.
yeah.
So when you guys lived in Happy Valley, when did you guys move up to San Jose?
Okay, what we used to do, we lived right there on Eva Terrace. The Toby Palacio and them used to live in San Jose. And they told us, during the fruit season, they told my dad, bring your kids up, they can pick prunes and pick apricots, cut apricots, and then you can go back. And then we used to go back to Ventura, pick walnuts, and then go back to LA, make a round. We were migrants, really, is what we were. See, so, and then now Trump wants to keep us out.
Okay, so then it just.
We used to go back. I remember when you pick walnuts, your hands are stained black. And when we went back to school, you used to try to hide your hands so you can tell where you've been, Put them in your pocket. But it wears off. It wears off. And
What grade? How old were you at this time?
Huh?
How old were you at this time when you were
Probably
picking?
beginning a teenager or something like that. I remember one time we were in the walnuts, I got sick. No, I got sick in San Jose. And then we went to the walnuts, and then I had diphtheria, me and Leroy. And I can remember being in the county hospital. One night I woke up, I wanted to go home, I was delirious. And they caught me walking down the hall, I was going home already. I can remember that. Jesus.
Wow.
Anyway, let's see about my grandparents. I didn't really get to know I even don't remember their names. Well, my grandfathers were Thomas, Tony was named Anthony Thomas, and my mother's dad, I forget what his name was, but his last name was Baca, and the Bacas right there in Albuquerque there's a lot of them, and we had cousins there that we didn't even know. And even when we were living there, we didn't, just Toby and Jenny were about the only ones that we knew back then.
So they're from your mom's side?
Yeah. No, well, no, they're from my dad's side.
They're from your dad's?
No, wait a minute. My dad was Velasquez. The people that are living there are Bacas. That's Joey's dad. And my uncle Lee Baca. The families were big then, they used to, this is one thing I can't see. You help your family survive. Otherwise, I don't know where it happened, because it never did happen to us. And nowadays, it's different. It's altogether different. Anyway, the family's grown so big now, my God, and with all the way from Sophia and all that great grandkids, and then the grandkids. You know, I say prayers for my whole family still, for Sophia and Jimmy's kids and Shelly's kids. But she go to sleep.
I think
She's falling
so.
asleep.
I think so. She should. But yeah.
Yeah, anyway, I don't really remember my grandmothers. A lot of my aunts I knew. But, and then we moved to California, and then we were living in Saratoga. And my Uncle Johnny brought his family up, and they lived in a house right close to where we lived. And they moved to Sunnyvale, because there were jobs on there, you know, in the fields. My Uncle Johnny used to work for Alonso. He was a big farmer there. And we used to live on one of his farms over in Evergreen when we were kids. And Evergreen was nothing but orchards and quiet, and right there where your 7-Eleven store was, that corner. I used to be the school back in there.
Are you born in White? Things.
They moved it up further back, but they used to have bus service, and if you wait for the bus, you're almost late for every day, because that's the way the schedule was set. So I used to walk. I was there before the bus, and come home before the bus. I'd be home already. And then I was walking home one time. Johnny and Jean Jamali were the Jamalis had a vineyard right there close to us in the back. And Sam became my